Faith, not of yourselves, it is the gift of God. Salvation is a gift from God. Can you earn it? Can you do anything to earn it? No. It's a gift. If you earn something, it's no longer a gift. Would you agree? If I work for my wages, they sure don't give me a gift at the end of the week. I earned it. Right? Well, salvation is a gift. It's free. Who's it available to? Everyone. Whosoever. Anybody that will ask and repent and seek the Lord can have it. Okay, so by grace, you are saved. So, what is grace to you? What do you think grace is? Who can define it?
Unmerited favor.
Unmerited favor. It means that you didn't do anything to earn it, right? What else is grace? Who else wants to describe it in your own words? What do you think of when you think of grace?
Undeserving.
Undeserved. Okay. I like that. That's exactly right. Grace is receiving something you don't really deserve. You didn't do anything to deserve it. What else? Anybody else got a description of grace? Who is grace? In other words, the basis of the grace we're talking about in the Bible comes from what or who?
From Jesus' blood.
From His blood. How come? Explain to me.
Well, God is. Well, that's really the propitiation of Jesus, because God is righteous. There can't be any darkness in Him, and so He has to punish sin.
Right.
And so, but He's love at the same time, and so. That's why it pleased Him to crush His Son, because He loved us so much that He had to punish the sin that the world was committing. So Jesus went to the cross willingly so that grace could be poured out on sinners, because sin had to be punished. And so by Jesus' death and resurrection, we received grace. And
did you do anything to help Jesus do that?
Absolutely not. Well, we did, really. We put Him on the cross, but other than that...
Yeah. But we weren't even there, were we, at the time? And so, if we weren't even there, Jesus Christ paid for my sin, gave me a free gift of salvation, and I didn't do anything because I wasn't even there, right? So that's grace. I mean, that's the epitome of grace. Let me ask you this. Did you do anything to merit being a sinner? I mean, I know you have in your latter years, but I'm talking about when you were born.
Born into that nature.
You're born as a sinner. That is correct.
You got the joy of the Lord.
You were born into the sin nature, a sinner. So, were you there when Adam sinned? When Adam rebelled? Did you have anything to do with that rebellion and that sin? But yet you suffered for it, am I correct? Because you ended up being born a sinner from Adam's sin. Is that correct? Everybody okay with that? You see that? So, a righteous God you were just talking about, knowing that you didn't do anything to get yourself in the predicament you're in to start off with. Now you certainly took advantage of it during your walk with the devil, and you partook of the world's goods. However, you didn't do anything to start off with to get there, so a righteous God had to redeem you the same way. In other words, you can't have had to do anything to get it. Right? Because Adam put you in it, you didn't have no control of that, so Jesus took you out of it. You understand what I'm saying? That's grace. The Jesus part is great. The Adamic part's a curse that you couldn't break on your own. Because Adam set you up in it, you couldn't break it without Jesus. Alright? You guys okay with that? You follow me? So grace is the fact that God said, my kids are in a mess down there. I got to go get them out of it. I got to save them. What we call saving. Some people, when we're witnessing on the street, they say, well, I don't understand. What am I saved from? They don't even understand, Huh? from hell is right. But see, if they don't believe in that, you know, they're out there living like the devil and having party down, good times, supposedly thinking they are, then then they don't appreciate the fact that you're trying to help them avoid hell because they don't believe in it anyway. But it's still there, whether they believe it or not. However, Jesus Christ gave us grace because Father God said, my kids are in trouble. Jesus said, okay, I'll go rescue them. But it's only, let me ask you this. Since Jesus did that, is everybody saved? Everybody agree with that? He said no, everybody's not. Everybody's not going to heaven, are they? I wish they were, but they're not. So what is the difference? How come if Jesus gave us all grace, how come everybody's not going to heaven then? Thank you. You have to receive it by faith. Okay? So, there are two things working on earth today. Okay? There is the curse of Adam and a people that's under that curse. And there is the grace of God and the people that's under that grace. You okay with that? And the key is, how do I get out of the curse? By choice, believing in God, believing in the grace. That's what it says here, verse 8. It says, for by grace are you saved, that's your salvation, you didn't do anything, through faith. Through faith. Okay? So,
is it...
no, that's good. I like you to, please don't ever think you're interrupting. If I'm not getting it clear to you, let's stop and talk about it.
I think for like one of the most difficult things why people walk away from it is because they say the prayer and they ask God and they seek Him for a while, but then they find themselves still doing the same sin, and they think that they're being rejected by God or whatever.
Right.
And I know that was one of my difficult things. You know, I'm still doing the same things I used to do. I'm not really changing. There's nothing different about it.
Right.
How do you go about? Cause I have two sisters. I can see that's what they're coming to.
Right.
How do you approach that?
Well, by teaching and fellowship with people. That's why this particular ministry is so good, because you're controlled atmosphere amongst who you're dealing with. The influences that influence you are controlled. Although your sisters don't have that advantage, still through your prayers and the strongholds that David's talking about, you're going to have to bring them down. You're going to have to work for them, use your faith for them, that they will be responsive. You can't make them follow God, and you can't make them believe, but you can make the demons leave them alone so that they will have more of a free path to do so, and a choice to do so. So a lot of prayer and love and encouragement to get them to read the Word and get into church somewhere. But even so, once somebody prays the prayer and asks the Lord to save them, from that point forward, God is in the midst of it. And God, even though it looks like they still go off haywire, and they may for a while cause themselves more trouble, that God wished that they would not do, but He's still a gentleman and He does not force anybody. But He's there with them to encourage them to come out the whole time. So even if, say, you or me walk with God for a while and then we backslide, God doesn't give up on us. He doesn't just throw us out and say, too bad, they're rebellious. I don't like them anymore. I'm mad at them. No, His grace still prevails. And He, in fact, brings about circumstances and angelic forces to continually woo you back to Him and people in their life. So once they pray, and if they really mean the prayer, then God is at work from that point forward. And even though our eyes may not see it all, it's a faith walk. God is working on them. It may take some years before, they turn around. But if we'll turn around quick, we avoid a lot of problems that we would go into if we don't turn around quick, So it's up to us. But it's all through faith. It's through your sister's faith. It's through your faith. It's a faith message. And that is, it didn't take any faith to be under the curse. I just was born that way, unfortunately. However, God made a way out, and this way out had to be applicable so that everybody could get it without prejudice. You understand? It couldn't be that I'm just going to save the white people, God says, or just the black people. It couldn't be that I'm just going to save the smart people and leave the dumb people in hell. It couldn't be that I'm just going to save the rich people because they can buy their way in and leave the poor people out in the street. You understand what I'm saying? Every other mode of collecting people has some sort of prejudice to it, except one, and that is the ability for you to believe. That has no prejudice. It's strictly a choice that you alone make. And you can do it rich, poor, black, white, red, yellow, male, female, whatever. So even you can do it when you're half and half. You know, homosexuals come in too. There's no prejudice here. Everybody from child up can make a decision to either believe or not believe. Therefore, God, in His infinite wisdom, so smart, came up with such a simple thing. Seems simple now, but it really wasn't simple because He had to have a way that nobody was prejudiced. And so, faith was the ticket, and is the ticket. So therefore, anybody that hears the message and chooses to believe can come out of the curse. And to the point that they believe, to the fullness, to the degree, is what I'm trying to say, to the degree they believe, is how much they'll come out of it. Okay, now, when you get saved, you are delivered from hell. All right? However, you might still have a lot of hell on earth if you don't keep on pursuing your faith and walking with it. Okay? Now, His blood is strong enough to take you to heaven at the moment you get saved. Whether you've been baptized or not, whether whatever. Now, you should be baptized. I'm not preaching against that. I'm just saying that it's not by works, it's by faith. I choose to believe. Boom, I'm admitted to heaven. My sins are forgiven. However, my soul realm, my mind is not saved. My mind still likes to do the things I used to do.